Hi everyone, welcome to our presentation, Challenging Censorship with Open Education, Lessons from Minecraft's Uncensored Library. My name is Robert Lawson, and I'm an educational developer at Northwest College in Edmonton, Alberta. And I'll be presenting today with Jenna Gauthier, who's a consultant on academic strategy at Northwest College in Edmonton, Alberta. We have a few takeaways for you today. First, we want you to consider how open education can be used as a tool to resist censorship as a form of oppression. Consider ethical concerns and practical strategies in deploying open educational materials via decentralized or unconventional platforms, and reflect on new collaborations and opportunities that support learners in censored regions through radical, playful approaches to access and equity. Censorship is a big problem, and it's getting worse. According to Freedom House's Freedom on the Net 2024 report, 3/4 of the countries covered by the report, internet users faced arrest for nonviolent expression. In at least 25 countries that held nationwide elections, people had to contend with censored information. Overall, 4 billion people worldwide are having to contend with censorship, and it's getting worse. We feel that open education has a role to play in fighting and resisting censorship.
So as Robert mentioned, over 4 billion people annually are impacted by censorship, and the number is growing. And we know that censorship manifests in a variety of forms. So it's not simply within the political sphere, but also think about all the media attention that you've seen around book bans in libraries over the past couple of years. Censorship consistently restricts access to information, including access to unbiased and comprehensive educational materials. So as this grows, we see more about it in the media. It got me thinking, and one day I went down a rabbit hole, as one does, and I came across the Uncensored Library. The Uncensored Library is a virtual archive created collaboratively by Reporters Without Borders and Blockworks, and it hosts a censored journalism repository within Minecraft, the world's most popular computer game, thereby making it accessible within repressed regimes. This innovative approach leverages the popularity and accessibility of Minecraft to bypass censorship laws and provide users with uncensored information, in this case, specifically around journalism. The library serves as a really powerful example of how digital platforms can be repurposed to promote freedom of expression as well as access to knowledge. And unlike traditional websites, Minecraft as a game is far less likely to be blocked by national firewalls, thereby allowing users to access content in a decentralized as well as engaging manner because it's housed within a game. So when I came across this, I began to think, where does this fit with open education? How might we? Could we? Censorship is really the antithesis to open, so how might we use this library and the ingenuity of these developers as a template for the evolution of open education?
And open education has evolved over the last 25 years. Initially, there was a strong focus on saving money, redistribution, so no-cost textbooks. Gradually, open education has evolved to include a social justice component. Recognition. We want students to be able to recognize themselves in the materials that they're using. Representation. We want to give students voice. This is most obvious in open pedagogy, where students help to co-create materials, and this gives them an opportunity to express themselves. We're proposing a fourth component, resistance. We want open education to take on a political role and help to undermine censorship. Now, there have been other approaches besides the Uncensored Library to undermine censorship. One is Tusha in Iran. This is satellite technology that is used to undermine internet censorship. There's also the IPFS, Interplanetary File System. This is a decentralized network as opposed to a location-based network, and it's been used in Turkey when the Turkish government tried to ban access to Wikipedia. There's also Siphon, which is a VPN, and Calibri. Initially, you need to load educational materials onto this software, and then it can be distributed on a platform in places where there's little to no access to internet. And this way you can distribute educational materials.
So as Robert highlighted, Beyond the Uncensored library, there are some other great examples of different kinds of software and decentralized platforms and initiatives to help subvert censorship across the world. So we've got some really great templates to work with. However, with opportunity, there comes challenges. So I think it's really important that we bring light to those and start to interrogate those a little bit. So, beyond the obvious of expanding access to OER and subverting censorship, other opportunities of this evolution present themselves in the form of partnership and collaboration with other organizations. So, as we begin to further expand the open community, we'll begin to encounter other organizations engaged in censorship resistance. So, really, we're looking at the expansion of the open community into new waters, so to speak. And as we further explore this area, we'll not only expand our reach and community, but then also, just like when we began to really bring social justice into the work, we're going to be bringing new lenses into the work of the open community and as we build new open resources. But now some challenges. Because censorship is largely politically driven, and in some regimes and areas, it can bring a lot of risks around safety. So we need to consider these pieces. For learners that are accessing censored educational materials, what are the risks inherent with that? We need to think about access. Minecraft sits behind a paywall. That doesn't really align with our open values. But beyond that, we need to be thinking about things like bandwidth, technological access, and the digital literacy of those that we want to support to access this information. We need to think about things like maintenance. We think about maintenance all the time with OER, but when we start looking at different kinds of platforms and innovative solutions, we need to think about how we're going to maintain those. For example, with the Uncensored library, if you download a specific version of Minecraft, it doesn't work quite right. And so versions and access become a thing. And then also remembering that when we start to build resources, there's the risk that we can perpetuate specific narratives. So we need to be cognizant of those risks as well. What narratives are we bringing into the work and into these spaces and giving learners access to? So while there are challenges and opportunities in this space, we like to think it's one worth exploring. And so we'd like to leave you with this. A question to consider. Is there a way we can leverage these lessons and create open solutions like the Uncensored library or like some that Robert highlighted? So Robert and I would really like to keep the conversation going, and we'd really like to explore these new pathways for open education. So our contact information is below, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.